Hello and welcome. Welcome to my home and welcome to my sacred space that I prepared for us today. I'm Olivia and this is Tarot and Coffee with Olivia, here to do your daily pick a card. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle our thought of the day from the Healing the Mind and Spirit cards. We'll see what we get. One more hard shuffle on the table, then we will cut the deck and choose our thought of the day. Cut the deck, we'll pick from the bottom. And we have a card that says, in this world, we learn through relationships, not things. You can't take your things with you when you leave. The affirmation, I release my attachment to things. I release my attachment to things. Easier said than done. I don't always have a lot of things, but I love my things. Release your attachment to things. I am released from my attachment to things. Okay, let's go ahead and see what else is going. Did I say who I was? I did. I do want to let you know how much I appreciate each and every one of you. It means a lot to me that you're here. Your comments really just make it that much more special, so I appreciate that. If you're liking this video so far, go ahead and give me a thumbs up now. If you want to wait, that's fine. If you want to wait and see if you like your card and judge your card. The likes are really about judging the video more than, but it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and move on. What do we have? We have our card toppers here, and if you've never done a tarot pick a card, it's easy. You just follow along with the video. I have timestamps in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and skip ahead to your card. Now, I will say some people pick all the cards. They do, and that's fine. Some people just pick two, or some people will pick them after they're all turned over. So there's really no real right or wrong way to do this tarot pick a card. So if you need a little time, oh, I guess I should show you the little rocks up close, or what we have, our crystals. This is our Selenite. This one is our Flourite. Oh, I'm not looking at the camera, guys, so bear with me. I'm going to try to look right now. This one is our copper. There we go. Our copper ore, or chalcopyrite. And this is rose selenite, or desert selenite. I can't remember. Rose desert, desert rose selenite. It's also selenite like this, only it's formed in the desert, I believe. And it has the sparkles in this one has a lot to do with some of the sand that's in there, as well as the sheen that you get from the natural rock. Anyway, I'm going to have a little sip of cup because I need it. All right. If you need more time to look over your crystals, your rocks, whatever you want to call these, go ahead and take that time. I hope I'm not offending any rock hounds or anything like that. I don't mean to be disrespectful to the stones or the crystals. Yeah, let's go ahead and start. If you need more time, pause the video. Take all the time that you need. Otherwise, I'm going to pick up what's under the selenite right now. La Estrella, the star. This is a wonderful card, as you might guess. I'm going to get it all on camera. The star. Whenever I see the star, I very much think of the Star of Hope. The Star of Hope is a homeless shelter that shelters families. It's very, very, very difficult for a mother and her child to find shelter. It's much easier for a man to find shelter. There are much more shelters that are dedicated to men in big cities than there are for women and children because it's easier. The Star of Hope took in families in Houston, Texas, and I had a terrible, terrible, terrible event happen in my life, in the life of my children, wherein one Christmas Eve we spent the night at the Star of Hope. They didn't have any room. I know, it sounds like a familiar story, no room at the inn, but they made room for us. They also brought the kids presents and blankets and stuffed animals, and we slept underneath the Christmas tree at the Star of Hope, against the fire marshal's rules. So that is an event with a whole story for another time, but that's what I think of when I think of the star, is even when there is no hope left, there is the Star of Hope, and there is always hope. So this is all about your personal truths as your path to your dreams. High hopes become a promise for a better future. Don't give up because the star tells us it's possible for your dreams to become reality. Always have hope. Hope is present. If you just want to leave it at that message, just hope is there. Hope is present in my life. I believe that things can get better. So, under the Flourite, we have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords. So, one of my favorite things about the Page of Swords is in one of the books that I like to use when I'm interpreting these cards. I also use my intuition, although I definitely use my intuition a whole lot more with personal readings, just because it comes up more. Because these are general readings, I like to keep them as general as I can so that they can resonate with more people, if that makes sense. So the words I really like that stick out to me is unconventional experimental thinking. Swords always have to do with the mind, okay, or the intellect, making decisions, and a little bit of everything else too, because that's how it goes. But I really like unconventional experimental thinking. Show the world your initiative. Courageously move forward against ignorance. Adventure awaits. The Page of Swords. The other thing I like about the Page of Swords is the fact that it's such an androgynous card that I think of it as a feminine card, but that's because I identify with being feminine. So it could also be a male as well. And that's what was under our Flourite. Now let's look and see what's under our copper ore, our Chalcopyrite. The Tower. Dun dun dun. Don't be scared. You picked this card for a reason. It's a good reason. So, This card is about acting consciously and directly, okay? Feel the love, be not afraid. Feel the wind in your hair. Don't worry about the fall because you may choose to fly. That's what I wrote down. I want to discuss it a little bit. You can see how scary it is. This big upheaval, big change. I remember one of my daughters, when we moved from a home that was eventually torn down very soon after we moved. And she had a little bruise on her leg, and her grandmother asked her about the bruise on her leg, and she said, well, I was in the house when it was torn down. Now, she was 4, so this is her reality. She saw that we watched the house get torn down because I thought it would be fun, but it was actually traumatizing for her. And I don't mean to laugh, but I am. It's uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. But she had a whole story about how she got that from a bruise on her leg from a brick that had fallen when they were tearing the house down when she was still in it because everybody forgot that she was there. The reality was we moved into another home and we were all fine. So the tower is about a lot of upheaval in dealing with those emotions and things, but nobody's hitting the ground. I want you to remember that part because it is very scary. It does look like something very traumatic, which it can be traumatic or dramatic. However, it's not necessarily the end. So let us go ahead and see what is under the rose, desert rose selenite. I think I'm making some of that up. I don't think it's a desert rose selenite. I think it's either a desert selenite or a rose selenite. At any rate, 5 of Swords is your final card. 5 of Swords. So I want you to notice these 2 swords that are on the ground here. Those are speaking to beware of empty promises and unfounded assumptions. These are your empty promises and unfounded assumptions. This isn't about someone else. This is about you. Don't be given out. Don't be assuming things without proof. The swords cards are all fighting against ignorance as well. So make sure your ideas are not assumptions, but your ideas are founded in fact. Also, empty promises. Make sure that you can keep a promise before you make that promise. I know things happen, so I'm not like fussing at anybody. This card kind of talks to me as well, not just you. So if you ever hear me sounding a little preachy, it might be because I'm more preaching at myself than you, for real. Make use of your intelligence as a means of healing. Push away the tendency to relive old hurts. Leave those behind in order to move forward. Leave those hurtful memories. Of course, we want to work through those memories, and that's what swords often have to do with, is working through things. Working through the bush, you're going to have to take out your hatchet, right? Well, anyway. Okay, I can talk all day. But let's go ahead and let me have a sip of coffee, and then we'll go ahead and move forward because now is the time for you to, I don't know what it's time for you to do. If you like, to give me that thumbs up if you didn't earlier, or give me a thumbs down if you prefer, that's fine too. If you give me a thumbs down, I do like to get comments, okay, about what it is that you didn't like. I don't mind comments the other way around either. So, I hope you found this to be just what you needed. Please do take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Don't make life-altering decisions or changes based on this or any other tarot pick-a-card video, as they are very general. But do book with me on my website or on my Keen for a personal and more detailed reading. And last but not least, subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.